Hello and welcome to Cash22. I'm your host, Mark Allen. Every year, over 1 million people in this country graduate from college. And what's the number one reason they go to college? To get a better job. Each of us has a dream of becoming something great. Some of us want to be athletes. Some want to fight crime on the police force. And some ambitious souls even want to fly to space. When it comes down to it, most of us end up doing something that we wouldn't have predicted as a child. Personally, I've spent time in sales, driving a forklift in a warehouse, teaching swimming lessons, being a tour guide, and even spent a weekend working as a clown making balloon animals. After all, we can't all be firefighters, doctors, and airline pilots, right? Cash22 is a program about the careers that lie in front of us and what it takes to succeed and make a living. Most college graduates are around the age of 22, and the one thing that's on all of their minds? Cash. How will they make their living? Will they enjoy it at the same time? Will they excel in their chosen field? And what does it take to get there? One thing I think every young professional could use to succeed in the world is a guide or mentor. Somebody that's been there and done that. Somebody that's had to change jobs, work for a demanding boss, and deliver results to stay ahead. To make things fun, what we're going to do on this show is meet up-and-coming young professionals, learn about their hopes and dreams, and bring in seasoned professionals and experts in the field to mentor them live, right here on the show.
For the JLB, it's not only important to have great vocals and musicians, their goal is to make sure the audience is involved and having a great time.
We are a high energy band. You can see on our faces that we really are passionate about what we're doing and we love what we're doing. I want it to be a colorful band, you know, as Mr. Woods was. He's just a colorful guy. I wanted to appeal to all ages when I created the band. Let's try everybody hitting that. Yeah, that's everybody hitting that.
The major appeal of JLB's frontman, Dan the Soul Man Carter, is going out into the crowd, making sure the audience feels a part of the show and right at home.
Well, it's one thing when you're sitting back and you're watching guys entertain you, and they sound good. And they're moving good and have something interesting to look at. But it's go to the next level when you can actually get out there in the audience and sort of get them involved with what you're doing.
On this episode of Cash22, I'm here again with Katherine Hepburn. Welcome back, Katherine.
Thank you.
And Dan, Hank, and Sheila from the Jake Lives Band. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to meet you. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about the Jake Lives Band? Where did that name come from, by the way?
Well, the Jake Lives Band was started about 5 years ago. I created it, and it came from Ann Arbor icon, mascot. Everybody loved him, Shaky Jake. He played, if those who don't know him, he played guitar around downtown Ann Arbor. Some people considered him a street bum. Some people considered him, just a colorful and unique guy that, they loved. And I was one of those that loved him. He had a certain style about him. Played guitar, like I said, wasn't much of a musician. But there was this presence about him that he gave off, that he loved what he was doing, his passion for life. Mm-hmm. He spoke with people. He spoke with me. I used to drive my bike downtown Ann Arbor when I was like 15 years old or so, and ride around, and he'd speak with me about staying at school, about staying away from girls and not getting them pregnant.
So we had some words of wisdom for you
Some
growing
great
up.
words for me, and I thought he was just unique. He captivated me. Although he didn't have talent, just the color of his clothes, his style, just something about him just drew me in. And looking back, the way I see it is, I think he seen something in me that I didn't see at the time.
So he
that I
became
now
a mentor of sorts to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so the Jake Lives Band, is that in part memory to Jake and trying to honor what he's taught you over time?
It's exactly that. It's something that keeps his memory alive, just honors him. Like I said, he was something big to Ann Arbor and big to me, played a big part in my life. So this is the way I choose to honor him.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Dan, we've invited you on the show today because you have experience working in the music industry. You're a professional musician. You brought your band with you, your backup singers, and we have Catherine here that we'd like her to learn from somebody that's been in the business, from a mentoring relationship. So we're going to get to know you first for this first part of this episode, and then after we get to know you a little bit more and learn about your experience, then we'll start talking to Catherine, and we'll learn about her aspirations and how you can give her advice and develop herself in the business.
Okay, absolutely.
That sound like a good plan to you?
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah, okay, great. So tell us a little bit more about your beginnings in music. You'd mentioned the Jake from the name of the Jake Lives Band. How did you start taking music seriously, and when did you actually start performing in front of an audience?
I started off with karaoke with these guys, really.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to we were like, everybody loved us everywhere we went. We became stars in our own right just doing karaoke. And I built from there. I actually been in a few contests with this guy.
Okay.
This lady.
What
We've been
sort
in
of
contests
contests
together.
were those?
Karaoke contest.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've won a total of 10 contests to date. And I won one that took me actually in Vegas one year. And
what was the song for that contest that you performed in Vegas? Maybe you don't remember.
Yeah, no, it was How I Wish It Would Rain, and it was Shining Star. Honey, you are my shining star. Man.
Yeah, okay.
All
right.
Manhattan. Shining Star.
Right, okay. So you've done the karaoke contests. Now you play in restaurants. What other types of venues do you typically play in now?
Now we play we play at Weber's, which is a nice gig we have fun with. Weber's Inn. We play at downtown Ann Arbor at MASH. We play at downtown Ann Arbor at Bar Louie's. And where else? This coming Friday, we've got a new location that we're playing for the first time. It's called JT's, and it's on Huron Street there, I believe, in Belleville.
Right.
It's a new location for us, so we invite everybody to come on out and see us.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so we're excited about that, and we're looking to have a great time as always.
Yeah, great. So
Yep.
having fun has probably been a big part of you deciding to become a musician. Is that right? It's fun, and you said, hey, if I could do this for a living, that would be perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's what they say, if you find something that you enjoy, it's never work, and that's the way I feel. It's not work to me. It's something I enjoy. It's something I'm passionate about, and I love the way it affects people, and draws them in, and the excitement on their faces when they see us.
Right. Would you say that's the same for the band members, for Hank and Sheila? Why have you been a musician, Hank, or what got you into the business?
Well, I love to sing, and I've been singing since I was knee-high to a duck.
Okay.
So, I mean, even in high school, as Dan was saying, karaoke contests and actually just singing because it was fun, and the performing arts was fun. And being in the band and just being able to perform in front of live music is just a natural high for me. And when you start talking about joy, there's no greater joy than to just be able to go out and to perform. And then, you know, the great caveat is to be able to do it well. You know, and people are enjoying you, but you're enjoying them and you're enjoying doing what you're doing. And that's the whole thing about it, that it is a love. It is a love affair that you can have for the rest of your life. And, you know, we've been doing this for a long time. And it's not just a performing piece now. That's just something that's fun now. But, you know, it's just something we've been doing all of our lives.
Oh, that's great. And you, Sheila?
Mm-hmm.
What's your background with music?
See, I started in church when I was elementary school, in elementary school choir, middle school choir. High school, I was still singing in church. I stopped singing in choirs probably through college, and then I kind of got hooked on the karaoke and did that for a while, and that's where I ran into these guys doing that. And I probably done more karaoke with Hank than I have with Dan. He was my duet partner, and we coined the phrase BIGO.
Yep.
And what BIGO means, you look for any background opportunity in every song. So that got us up with everybody else's song as well. So, and I enjoy the joy that it brings from other people. We always thank the crowd for applauding us, but they come up and thank us for performing for them, because music touches the soul and it unites everyone. So I just have a blast.
Oh, that's great. And I think you'd mentioned you started singing in church, and Dan, you'd mentioned something to me about that earlier. Is that a big part of where you learned to sing and where you perfected those skills, would you say? For any of you?
For me, I can say that's where I picked up learning the harmonies, because there's really tight harmonies in church. So that part I learned from my father, who was a great harmony singer, and through all the choir directors in church as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with church, what I learned primarily is how to actually not just sing and sound good, but actually move people with your voice. And that's what you want to do. It's you want to move people. You want to give them something that they can not only relate to, but something they can feel within. And that's what church did more than anything. It does for me. Yeah. Oh,
that's great. And how big of a motivation for it, or is it for you when you're performing in front of an audience to see that people are excited and moved? Does that motivate you more to keep playing and do a better job?
Absolutely. It geeks us up, man. We want to put on we want to go to the next level. The more the crowd's into it, the more we want to go to the higher level. You know.
Has there been a highlight this year or in the past couple of years for you performing where you said, "Oh, this is why I'm in this business"? Did you have a great show, or is there any highlight you can share with us?
I'd say at least 95% of our shows are just off the chain. Right. I mean, people are just, you know, they're excited, they're dancing, they're coming up. We take our breaks and they're coming up to us before we actually get out, you know, and grab a pop or use the restroom. They're coming up to us asking for cards, or this and that, asking for particular songs they might want to hear, you know. So, I mean, just the excitement of it all, it's phenomenal.
Oh, that's great.
It really is.
So let's transition now to talk to Catherine. We got to know you and the band a little bit, and it sounds like you have a thriving business going with your band, and you're personally motivated, and it gets you going and gets the audience pumped up. So what advice do you have for somebody that's earlier on in their career as a musician, and what advice do you have for Catherine?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, Catherine, I'm excited for the opportunity to sit with you and to mentor you.
Me too.
Yeah. And I got a chance to hear you on is it Facebook or YouTube somewhere, but and you're fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Like I said, you remind me of like a young Lauryn Hill. When I describe you as a sort of a R&B soul storytelling type voice, you know, that's the way I describe it. But you're awesome, and I would say just don't do it for the money. Do it for the love of music. Do it to touch people, and the money the income that will follow. You know, that's it. You know, and a lot of musicians, you know, they tend to have that at their too much in view. You know, it tend to be priority with them oftentimes, and I'd say just kind of follow that that procedure, and you'll go a long ways. And you know, touch people, strive to touch people and move people, and you know, and always give God praise. You know, thank Him for what the gift He's given you, and you go far. I think, I really do. I think you will.
Great. So that's some great motivational, inspirational direction, and I even appreciate hearing advice like that. Thanks, Dan. What about the practical side of the business in terms of booking your next gig or negotiating a salary for a show that you're going to put on? What have you learned over the years in that part of the business?
I've learned you have to be persistent when you're trying to land a gig. There's some that comes easy. There's some you have to work at. We worked at Weber's for we worked there trying to land Weber's for
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do during those 2 years to get the gig? What were some of the things that helped you finally land there?
Well, some gigs you have to go through an agency to get booked. Others you can just go. They have their own booking agency within the facility, or the manager or whatever book you. Weber's happens to be one that we had to go through an agency for, and I've been calling this guy, the guy who's in charge of booking over there, and no response. No response. He'd been hearing about us from other people, and just no response. And finally, and then what happened was a few of our fans started approaching Weber's. It's like, you need these guys in here.
That helped?
Yeah. You really need, and he started to get the buzz on that, Mr. Weber. And actually, one day he caught us at Bar Louie's performing live. Just happened to walk in that day.
Perfect.
And it was, you know, it was another great show. You know, a lot of people around, a lot of people dancing, and that pretty much sealed it for us. You know.
So along those lines, Catherine plays at shows around Ann Arbor now. I suppose your advice would be just keep playing for free, and the paid gigs will come. Is that typically how it works?
Yeah, just keep honing your craft, and you know, what'll happen is the right people will come your way. That's going to lead you to bigger and better things. The key is just to keep improving, keep getting better and better. Once you get so good, you can't really be denied. You know what I'm saying?
I hope to get there.
Yeah, it becomes a force. You know, and
how assertive do you have to be? You said you were persistent for a couple of years with Weber's, and Catherine, do you feel like you're an assertive person from that perspective?
I definitely think that's something that I can work on, and I know that because I don't necessarily have a band backing me up, sometimes it can feel like I'm a little alone and small, so I'm probably going to work on that, trying to like put myself forward more.
You would someday like to have a whole band behind you?
Yeah, I mean, I have different bands that I play with, but they're never really consistent. I just have a lot of friends that do music, and we kind of just form groups, but I don't have like a set band, so it's just kind of like whatever comes my way and whoever I can pull in to come play with me type thing.
Do you think Catherine needs a manager, or should she try to go at it on her own? What's your advice there?
Just go at it on your own for a while, I think, just so you can learn the ins and outs and the disappointments and the victories and so forth. And then, you know, at some point, it would be great to bring in someone who can handle, well, you know, your business affairs and getting your bookings and so forth. That would, you know, it's not always as easy as it seems.
Yeah.
But that can be a challenge in itself, oftentimes. But down the road, I think that would be helpful for us.
So Dan, for someone in Catherine's position where she could pursue another profession at the same time, she'd mentioned physical therapy as well. What would your advice be in terms of Should she pursue another profession and do music on the side, or just put everything she has into music? And how did you approach that question in your life?
It's good to get something at least part-time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say at least part-time and pursue, because what happens, you get something full-time, what it tends to do is it tends to drain you and take that creative energy away from you, and you just get kind of lazy with your music, and you know, in my experience. So I would say get something at least part-time, and if you want to do music as a career, put everything you got into it and just go for it, you know. With the income, the part-time income, and the gigs that you get the income on that, you know, I think that would be the route to go.
Okay. You'd mentioned that you are a full-time musician now, that income sustains you from weekend to weekend playing the gigs, is that correct?
Yes, yes. I'm with a wedding band called Chateau. Chateau is actually the top wedding band in Metro Detroit. I've been with them 10 years, and I refer to them as my bread and butter band.
Okay.
Yeah. And Chateau, you know, we've got so many awards as being one of the top from a wedding publication. And you know, they get gigs like crazy. It's pretty much we're getting ready to come into a season right now to where we're getting ready to be booked like crazy. So
so you're working full-time on the weekends doing that. And how about you, Hank and Sheila? Are you also full-time band members, or do you have day jobs?
I have day job.
Day job,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm employed at the University of Michigan Health System.
Okay.
And I've been there for 29 years. But I will say this, that regardless of what you do, full-time job, if you have love for music, it'll never leave you. You will find time for it. I will say this is that, that I've always worked, okay, but I've never not wanted to sing or not wanted to perform. And the beauty behind that is that as long as you work on your craft, and we were doing it in karaoke, probably didn't even realize it, but as long as you work on your craft, it won't leave you. And when you have an opportunity to perform, it is the biggest rush. And I think that what you will find is that as long as you have that love for it and that passion for it, it will find its way. You will eventually find your way to it. We're doing it right now, and I promise you, we don't have any spring chickens on this stage. It may be just her.
That's good.
Yeah, you. That's right.
Would you agree with that, Sheila, with Hank?
Yes, I would agree with Hank. I also work full-time. I'm a retail sales manager at Victoria's Secret, so I have the floating hours. And sometimes I work an 8-hour day, 8.5-hour day on a Friday, and then go to a gig so tired, but then the entertaining and the music jazzes me up, and then I can't go to sleep at night when I go back home. So, but listening to something you said earlier, he was asking you whether you should still do the free gigs. Any exposure is good exposure.
Yes, it is.
And you never know what's going to come out of it. So I'm sure you always give it 100% yourself while you're entertaining. You never know who's around. Ann Arbor's a very loyal music loving town. So once they get to know you, they'll come and follow you.
So Catherine, what other questions do you have for Dan, Hank, or Sheila in the band?
Well, first of all, I just thank you for all the advice. It's really touching and helpful. And I guess you talked about earlier kind of transitioning and like losing some of your band members. So how do you, and like I'm assuming these guys are your friends, and so like how do you come to just finding new band members and like finding who you click with and who you like to work with?
Well, like I said, we had one point had lost every band member.
Every musician. We didn't have any.
Every musician, or whatever that cost was, some silly. And Sheila was the only one that stayed with me. She recommended Hank. She said, you know, think about getting Hank. It's like, okay. So we brought Hank in, and we started off with karaoke tracks.
Let me interrupt you. What we did is we got Dan at karaoke, and he was singing, what song was that? Mighty Love.
Yeah.
He was singing Mighty Love, and Hank and I hit the background for him. He could barely even sing after hearing us sing with it. He was like, wow. So
Yeah.
that
Must have
kind
been
of
good.
Yeah.
So we,
Carry on.
Hank said he had a cousin that played guitar,
Mhm.
and we brought him in, and I had a few musicians that I always keep musicians logged in my cell, and just I called a couple and landed one or two of them. Then people recommended people, and before you know it, we got the new version of the Jake Lives band.
Mhm.
You know, so.
Would you recommend like working with people that you know and love? That's what I'm experiencing now. Is that the people who are in my current bands are just like I just love those people, and they're good friends. But also I feel like if something happened to the band, like do we ruin the friendship? Like I don't know.
Yeah, the music and the passion and doing being focused must become priority. Sometimes the friendship, you know, you have to put the back burner at times, you know. But friends, if you could connect with someone, I mean, these guys here, man, you know, I've been blessed, you know. My group is, we all get along, we all have fun, and we laugh often. Fans keep us laughing, you know. We have fans that get drunk and fall off stools and you know, we have a good time, you know. So if you can find that, you know, that would be awesome. And
So Dan, are you saying to prioritize the musicians instead of choosing your best friends to be in the band?
yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I would say you prior towards where you want to go, what you want to do. You have to be focused. That should be your main thing. The friendship, you know, if you can find someone that you connect with and they share your vision, that's an added bonus. You know.
Does it ever get contentious with the band? Something's not going right.
We-
Go
Maybe
ahead.
you laugh.
We have our creative differences, you know,
Yeah.
at times, but we know each other well enough to get it off our
Yeah.
chest and speak our mind. And
Musicians are rare birds, okay?
It's us and then there's the musicians.
Yeah, there's regular people, then there's musicians, okay? And believe me, when you have a lot of talented people in a room, there is something about that. When you come together, it's dynamite. But there can be egos, there can be some of everything that goes on.
Mhm.
You gotta blow it off, and then you gotta keep it going. And like I said, when it comes together, everything is worthwhile. It really is. And this, again, it's a lot of fun.
That's great to hear. We're about out of time for today, but we do want the both of you and the band to continue a relationship and help each other as your careers progress. So if you'd be willing to do that, that would be wonderful, and I'm sure Catherine would appreciate the connection as
Oh
well.
yeah, you're my Facebook friend yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Facebook
Yeah, yeah.
friends
Yeah,
already,
yeah.
so that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I want to thank each of you for coming here onto the show on Cash22.
My pleasure.
And please spread the music. Keep doing what you're doing. It sounds like there's a lot of happy and entertained people out there in the world because of you. So we all appreciate that. And I'm impressed by the music that all of you produce. So thanks again for being on Cash22, and hope to stay in touch.
Oh, yeah. What y'all turn this into? What y'all to turn this joint into? To the island. There's something to tell me.